Hello, everyone. Welcome back. For this session, we're finally going to go into our Tableau project where we will build a dashboard for the business leadership. So, let me give you a scenario. You are the lead data analyst in an e commerce business, and your executive leadership wants to track how the business is performing in their XBRs, which can be anything such as weekly business reviews or WBRs for short, monthly business reviews or MBR for short, or quarterly business reviews or QBR for short. So, generally, any kind of business reviews that the business leadership will do are also known as XBRs. The leadership has asked you to build a new dashboard that will help them review key metrics to understand the rhythm of the business and facilitate business decisions. Your everyday stakeholders from marketing, finance, and logistics are also interested in exploring the ability to deep dive these key performance indicators or metrics. So, with the scenario set, the goal of this project will be one, build a Tableau dashboard that will track key performance indicators such as KPIs, such as revenue growth over time, new customers acquired over time and their location, repeat purchases over time, average time to deliver after purchase was made, payment type growth over time. And on top of that, we might want to uh, add some additional visualizations for our everyday stakeholders who are not senior leadership people. They're your counterpart colleagues that work with you every day. They're more into the depths of the data. So you might want to build a deep dive metrics that looks underneath the top level KPIs, such as a table with relevant metrics at the order, customer, or payment level, or any other levels that the stakeholders may want. So, with that, let me explain, generally speaking, how the cycle of a dashboard development goes in terms of its phases. So, one, obviously, whoever whoever requests the development of the dashboard, you will first have to understand the audience's requirements. The first thing is who is the audience. For example, is your audience the executive leadership stakeholders? Are they mid-level managers? Are they your colleagues who works with you every single day, who are more into the data, who are more in depth and understands data a lot more than your leadership? The second thing we'll have to consider is what kind of message do we want to relay through the dashboard? So that's the what and where. How do we want to deliver these metrics? Is it a dashboard? Is it some sort of an Excel spreadsheet? Is it some sort of a SQL query? Whatever is required from the business or your stakeholders, you'll need to understand that and how. So once the where, what, and who is set, how do you want to build this? Um, Once these are clarified, we'll now move into the next phase of building a wireframe. Wireframe can be anything from a rough draft to a drawing of how a dashboard should look like, or it could be a first iteration of an actual dashboard itself. And maybe at that point, you may want to solicit feedback from your stakeholders, and that'll be your working wireframe going forward. Um, the key idea of a wireframe diagram or a dashboard in this case is to basically help both you and your stakeholder understand what is expected to be delivered and how it will look like at a very high level. Uh, so it should somewhat resemble what kind of information the dashboard should carry in our case. What kind of message are we trying to relay through the dashboard and its metrics within it? And finally, you'll need to get agreement or an approval from your audience, which are also your stakeholders. Once this phase is complete, we'll now actually move into the dashboard development phase, also known as the initial iteration, where you'll first go and actually develop the dashboard for the first time. And then in the next phase, let's move downwards instead of moving to the left. We'll look at the audience or stakeholder review. And through this phase, we'll get feedback on what's as expected, what's not. And through the feedback that you solicit from your first iteration, you can also outline tasks which you will take on for the next iteration to improve the dashboard. And after one or multiple iterations, I'll call it the nth iteration, you probably would have fulfilled tasks that were outlined in the prior feedback, and then you would go into your re-review or your end review with your audience or your stakeholders to see if everything looks as expected. And once you have an approval from your stakeholder or your audience, you would finally go into the launch publish phase, where given that they have approved, um, you're clear to publish or launch your dashboard into, I say production, but generally just speaking, publish it so that it's viewable and accessible by your stakeholders and your audience. And obviously, afterwards, there will be some maintaining or some requirements may change. So you may need to iterate in the future. So this is the general life cycle phase of developing a dashboard at large. Let's look at the wireframe diagram that I have set based on the goals that we have set in our scenario. So let's assume that we had some discussion with our audience. In our case, it was the executive leadership, and at large, because they don't have a lot of time, they just verbally explain what they want to see at a high level. So based on that, I came up with a wireframe diagram that shows top line metrics in the first section. All of these are in the number one numbering, and they have dot X number just to show, just to differentiate what visuals are being shown in order. So 1.1 visual. This would be the revenue growth over time. And in the bracket, I have said I want to make this into a bar chart. And this will include a parameter so that you can toggle between different time units, week, month, and quarters for our executive leadership's XBRs, whether that's at the week level or the month level or at the quarter level. It will also contain revenue growth by product groups. Maybe we want to have 3 different product groups, and then just for the simplicity of this exercise, we may want to categorize other, um, how many product categories that we have as others. In Visual 1.2, we have a top 10 product groups purchased within the business, and this is going to be a table. So within this table visual, we must show the number of purchases for each product group, and we should ideally sort this to show the top 10 products in the descending order of the purchase numbers. And this probably need to be filterable by using a date range filter. In Visual 1.3, we also would want to have a new customer acquisition visual. And this, I think, in my mind, could be either an area chart or a bar chart, maybe a combo chart, which would show the number of new customers acquired over time. It will also need to show the total number of purchase value by customers by different time units, whether at the week, month, quarter level, and so forth. We will also want to show the number of purchases by product group as well to kind of show some sort of a consistency between the other prior visuals. For Visual 1.4, we want to have the repeat customer transaction shown as a dashboard. And I'm thinking once again as either an area chart or a bar chart or maybe a combo chart, which would show the number of returning customers over time. This will also need to show the total value of the purchase of returning customers by different time units and show a number of purchases by product group as well. And to continue on within our top line metrics, maybe in 1.5 visual, we want to show the time to deliver, which could be shown as a bar chart or maybe as a Gantt chart. I haven't fully decided at this point. We'll decide as we build. But essentially, some key information that needs to be inside it. It needs to show the average time to deliver from purchase to the actual delivery. Maybe we want to show maybe only 5 locations or 5 states or cities and so forth, and label everything else as others, just for the simplicity of this project exercise. We would also want to show the average time difference between estimated delivery and actual delivery to further understand, hey, for example, if we're using some sort of a machine learning model to forecast the estimated delivery time, how accurate is that compared to the actual delivery? And through that information, maybe our Science stakeholders may want to look back into their model to see if they can improve it or fix it or do what they need to do to improve it. Last but not least, 1.6 visual would show the payment analysis. I'm thinking a pie chart would suffice. It's going to be fairly simple, but this would show the number of purchases made by different type of payment over time. Um, Maybe if we don't want to do a pie chart, maybe an area chart would be interesting as well. But I think a key importance in this, once more, because there's a time, uh, because this is a metric that changes over time, we may want to add a filter by date range. For deep dive metrics, which I'll label as 2, um, for 2.1, we might just want to have a data table. And this data table would show the order date, order value, customer state, um, purchase rank, which would be the number of times that they have purchased over time through the business, payment type, estimated delivery, actual delivery, product group. Just basically, essentially showing the raw data that we have used to show these visuals so that our colleagues or our counterparts that works at a much more deeper granularity and level could deep dive into the data themselves instead of coming back to us and asking, hey, data analyst, I see that this metric shows this while the prior week showed something else. I want to validate if this is correct or if the data is wrong or if something has gone wrong within our operations. So instead of getting those ad hoc tasks and requests from your stakeholder, you can just provide them with this deep dive metric data table so that they can deep dive on their own. Once again, this must be filterable by order date range, order value, product group, customer state, purchase rank, payment type, and delivered on time, yes or no. Um, so I put an asterisk here because this is a metric that I just defined. And deliver on time is defined as if an order was delivered before or by the estimated delivery date. So we'll have to compare the actual delivery date with the estimated delivery date. So this is what a wireframe diagram should look like, and from a conceptual standpoint. And in the next video, we'll go ahead and try to move into building the dashboard together. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.